Okay, let's draw some noses. Okay, let's talk about the shape of the nose first of all. The nose comes in different shapes. Comes in round bulbous shapes. Comes in pointed shapes like a cone. Or like almost like a pyramidal shape. Comes in almost a square shape. So really, you have to define what kind of nose you're going to do and what it's going to be for. If you're going to do a clown, you obviously realize it's a round shape. If you're going to do a female, you might want a more pointy small nose like that. But not in all cases, because you might have more of a button nose too for a female or a kid. So really you just gotta experiment and try different things. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw some different noses. I mean, they come in all shapes and sizes. So a nose I use a lot is I bring down the line here and then you run the line across here like that, because when you do that it's like foreshortening, and then you swing this around. You can make this line a little bit darker too, and then another line here for the nostril, and then kind of a C shape. You can also go on this side too to indicate the other nostril sticking out. But so this is kind of a standard cartoon nose like that. It's one way of doing it. And then of course if you want to go the other direction, you just reverse it like that. You can put shadows under noses too. That helps define them also. And this nose straight on, you would probably have two lines like this, and then the top, then the backwards, the little loopy there, and then come down like so. So that would be the front version of these noses. So anyway, yeah, you can turn it any direction. This nose pointed up would be more like this. Like so. If you were looking up at the subject. Like that. So anyway, custom noses, like say, like when I do a witch or something, I usually have it pointed down, come down like that, go up like that. I put a big wart on the nose, maybe a couple hairs, but it's the same idea, kind of a C shape like that. Sometimes I'll put the mouth like right even behind the nose. And of course the scary witch eyes. But that's kind of a witch nose. And if I'm drawing, like say tough guys, like a weightlifter or something like that, I usually put the nose up here, and it's not so long, it's more kind of a round shape. And then I usually use the space between this nose and the mouth. Big space there. Little ears. And those eyes are kind of weird, but so, and then generally the male eye for a man, I mean the male nose for a man is bigger. And then the female's typically is smaller and a little more pointed. So that's a little bit of a difference. And children's noses are farther down on the face. And a lot of times they're just little shapes like that. But not necessarily. I mean, you can make a child's nose more like this too. But generally they're definitely smaller and they're lower on the face. So you just got to practice. Do a lot of different noses. It's fun to experiment with shapes. Just make a crazy shape like that, and then you just add your parts to it. But that's a wacky nose for you. Sometimes I'll just start with a circle and then come up here and add the nostril like that. Again, back to that basic formula. And then sometimes you can bring a line like this and then a line like that. See how it's kind of like a Y, but that indicates like foreshortening. If you want to add stuff underneath too, you can add shadows. This is kind of a happy nose, happy guy. With eyes like that, he's really happy. He just moved to Oregon where marijuana is legal. I don't partake in the weed myself, but I know for some people it's helpful. Makes them feel good. And another fun nose to do, is kind of weird, is the pencil nose. Pencil nose geek. There's a really droopy nose. So you can have noses pointed down, pointed up, round, square, pencil. Pretty much anything. A lot of it's just practice. Sometimes a nose could be just like that. That's your nose. And if you want to do a realistic nose, it's just you got to kind of look at it and practice, and you get the feel of it more. It's the same idea. You have the shapes that go underneath and around, and the shadow, like so. A little bit more realistic nose. But usually I don't do a lot of realistic renderings or drawings. I'm more about into the the cartoony. I mean, sometimes I'll sketch and do, but I mean on windows and stuff, I don't do a lot of too many realistic looking images. I stick more to the cartoony. But drawing is good. Doing realistic drawing is good practice too, you know. And some people might want to do windows with more realistic renderings too. But I just think cartooning communicates better. Like instead of having a face like this on a window, which would register and communicate. If I wanted to show a character like this showing surprise, you know, or concern, this person looks concerned, I would exaggerate it, and I would do it more like this. Like the eyes would just be like, whoa. And then the nose would be more crazy looking. So this is the same expression, just a more cartoony version. But still, it's good to know the structure of the nose. You know, it's basically, you know, it's got different shapes to it. Geometrical shapes. So it's good to know the three-dimensionality of the nose. So when you go to depict it as a cartoon, you'll have a kind of an idea of what it's like. Okay, so I'm just gonna doodle here and make some different. Oh, this one broke. Got to get another one. Another tough guy. Tough guy nose. Round, bulbous. Okay. Kind of a pointy long nose. Happy person. I know, let's draw some like a crazy, there's a kind of a, let's draw a big crazy monster nose. With spikes all over it. Some crazy monster. That's a crazy nose. Anyway, thought I would do that. Got a request from John from John's Window Painting. Asked about doing some sketches of noses. And so that's what I decided to do. So I hope you enjoyed this, John, and it's kind of interesting. All right. I'll see you next time. Bye.